Hey everybody, it's John from 8 Worlds, here to give you my review of Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze for the Nintendo Wii U. The story of Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze starts out on Kong Island, or Congo Bongo Island if you grew up during the same years I did. Donkey, Diddy, Dixie, and Cranky are celebrating Donkey Kong's birthday, and beyond the peculiar absence of Candy Kong after a presumed breakup, everything is going great. Suddenly, a cold wind blows through the air and a group of Viking-esque invaders called Snowmads appears off the coast. With the blow of a big horn, the leader of this band of chilly rodents not only freezes the entirety of Kong Island, but sends DK and the gang to a faraway island which for some reason, despite being completely unfrozen, is still occupied by Snowmads, but we probably shouldn't dig too much into a game about rhinoceros taming gorillas. Anyway, DK and friends must fight their way across several different islands on their quest to return to and retake Kong Island. Much of Donkey Kong Country's initial popularity could be credited to its use of advanced 3D graphics. While our first pixelated looks at Tropical Freeze may have told a different story, the final game is extremely impressive. While the art style of Tropical Freeze remains largely the same as Donkey Kong Country Returns, an advanced lighting engine lends itself to creating a much more atmospherically interesting environment. This is particularly true of a level called Miss Abyss, which combines an underwater level with the silhouette levels of the previous Donkey Kong game. As you interact with various bioluminescent elements of the environment, the level transitions from 2D to 3D thanks to some great lighting tricks. But what is easily the most impressive part of Tropical Freeze from a visual standpoint is the fur. I don't think I've ever seen a game create a more realistic simulation of fur. What truly makes it stand out from other games with hairy heroes is the way it reacts to wind and movement. It's a nice reminder of how technically impressive Retro's games really are. While Kenji Yamamoto did a great job in Donkey Kong Country Returns of recreating and homaging the work of David Wise and Evelyn Fisher from the original Donkey Kong Country trilogy, it's great to have David Wise back on board for Tropical Freeze. The game makes surprisingly little use of the large back catalog of Donkey Kong music. In fact, the only two songs that are used outright are the classic map song, and of course the triumphant return of the most famous underwater song of all time, Aquatic Ambiance. What David Wise has managed to do is pick up right where he left off. Rather than rehashing old songs, he's created an entirely new soundtrack that already feels like a classic. Kenji Yamamoto has not been cut out of the picture either, as he aided in the composition of many of the songs, and one of his original pieces from Donkey Kong Country Returns is back to greet you in Tropical Freeze every time you hop onto that ridiculously frustrating barrel. Alright, let's talk about... oh, crap. Okay, let's talk about... shoot. Okay, I got it this time. Alright, dang it! Let's talk about gameplay. Retro is notorious for not caring how hard their games are, and we love them for it. Well, most of us do. One of the most complicated things about making a game hard is making sure that when the player dies, he or she feels like the game beat them fair and square, and not that they were beaten by clunky controls or bad hit detection. Tropical Freeze, as frustrating as it may be, is always happy to remind you that while it's awesome, you kinda suck. When you're not busy dying, however, Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze is, and I say this with all honesty, the best 2D platformer since Super Mario Bros. 3. Like Super Mario Bros. 3, Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze seems to introduce a new mechanic every time you enter a level. This means that there are no throwaway levels. Every single level has something special and interesting that may not be in any other level. I say may not be in any other level because, despite having finished the game, I still haven't found the entrances to every single level. This game has a redonk number of alternate paths and hidden secrets. 100%ing this game will be a task I shall be involved in for quite some time. It's the addition, or rather re-addition, of underwater levels that really add something new to this entry. In Tropical Freeze, Retro has redesigned the way underwater levels work, updating their control scheme from 1985 to 2014. No more must you tap B to stay afloat. DK simply moves in whichever way you point. In addition, having one of DK's friends, Diddy, Dixie, or Cranky, allows you to move through the water with added abilities. On the topic of movement, let's talk about controls. Donkey Kong Country Returns was often criticized for its somewhat sloppy waggle controls. Tropical Freeze not only does away with waggling, but adds the option of switching buttons around to fit what you like best, and allowing you to choose between the control stick, or if you grew up playing your platforms with a D-pad, then you can choose that as well. I haven't had this much fun playing a 2D platformer in a long time. Donkey Kong blows the new Super Mario franchise out of the water and really shows how much good new ideas can be for an old franchise. Retro's made it their business to revitalize dead franchises, and while we all thought they had done a great job bringing Donkey Kong back to life, they knew that they were just getting started. We're giving Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze a perfect 10 out of 10. Tropical Freeze finishes what was started by Donkey Kong Country Returns. It is the definition of a great Nintendo 2D platformer, and we can all eagerly look forward to what Retro plans on bringing back from the dead next. Anyway, thanks for watching. Please subscribe, head over to facebook.com/8worldsnews and like us on there, follow us on Twitter @8worlds, and check out our blog, 8worldsnews.blogspot.com. I'm John, and I will see you next time.